Hey everyone, it's Josh. Today we'll be talking about Tesla's full self-driving technology. As a long-term investor, I think it is important to understand the technology that Tesla is working on and just how far ahead they are than their competitors. The general perception seems to be that fully autonomous vehicles are just not possible or is really far out into the future. However, I think that Tesla has created a clear path for them to solve full self-driving eventually. Most of the information in this video is based off of Tesla's Autonomy Day presentations back in 2019. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested. I'm sure they are constantly fine-tuning and improving their systems, so I would not be surprised if there has been some changes. Although, I'm pretty confident that their general principles have not changed. Before we start, I am not a financial advisor, so don't buy or sell based on this video. At the recording of this video, I do hold Tesla shares. Please do your own research and make your own decisions. For this video, we'll first take a look at Tesla's full self-driving computer, then how they're approaching the vision problem, and then finally their data engine. Keep in mind that this is just a really high-level understanding of Tesla's technology. I am sure that there are a lot of details missing. Let's start with the full self-driving computer. When we drive, we go through the following process. We perceive and understand the environment with our eyes. Then, we plan and determine the best action to take using our brain. And then, we act on our plan and drive. This cycle continues until we reach our destination. Tesla's full self-driving solution actually mimics how we drive. Instead of eyes, the vehicle has cameras, sensors, radars, and other components to understand the environment. Instead of a brain, the vehicle has a full self-driving computer. If we can drive with two cameras, there's no reason to think that a vehicle can't drive with multiple cameras and sensors if the self-driving computer is intelligent enough, which we'll talk more about later. The process in which the full self-driving computer goes through looks a little like this. The first step is for the car to perceive the state of the situation. This is done using components such as 8 surround cameras, 12 ultrasonic sensors, 1 forward-facing radar, and GPS. The equipment provides a 360 degrees of visibility for the car and other useful data for understanding the environment. Once the car understands the current state of the world it is in, the planning step is next. Notice how there are 2 redundant Tesla full self-driving chips on the board. That is because there are 2 Tesla full self-driving computers, each running their own operating system and power supply. Each chip receives video feed and manages it independently. The general principle for this design is that if any part of the car fails, the car will be fully functional still. The full self-driving chip was designed by Tesla for the sole purpose of running its self-driving software. With each chip able to do the 36 trillion operations per second, you can see how this chip is more optimized than a general purpose computer chip when it comes to full self-driving. Once each chip has independently come up with a plan, the 2 chips compare their plans with each other to make sure they have the same results. This is for safety purposes. If both chips agree, the full self-driving computer will act on its plan. Finally, the chips validate against the car's data and sensors to ensure that the car has acted on what was planned. These 5 steps are the cycle in which the full self-driving computer follows: perceive, plan, compare, act, and validate. But how does the full self-driving computer understand the outside world? How does the full self-driving computer even come up with the plan? What exactly is the full self-driving computer chips computing? The core of the problem that needs to be addressed is visual recognition. It is easy and natural for us to identify road signs and lanes when we drive. A full self-driving computer would need to be able to do the same with high accuracy and speed in order to solve full autonomy. The reason Tesla is choosing to focus on a computer vision solution is because everything we see on the road is important visual information to make the right decisions. Just as we don't drive by using laser detections in every direction, they believe cars shouldn't also. This is more apparent when situations such as moving objects like humans or flying plastic bags come into the picture. For example, LiDAR would not be able to differentiate between a road bump and a plastic bag. The challenge Tesla faces is whether they can develop a visual recognition model good enough to give you all the information LiDARs could provide and more. Tesla is attempting to solve visual recognition using neural networks. Neural networks are computing systems that imitate the biological neural networks in brains. Just like how our brains has many neurons, neural networks also have millions of nodes performing calculations. When we give the neural network an image, it will predict the probabilities of what it thinks the image is. In the beginning, the system will not be very tuned to give you accurate results. However, if you provide it with enough labeled data, you could train the neural network to fine-tune itself to provide more accurate results. For example, if you provide the neural network with a lot of images of stop signs in different lighting and orientations, and then tell the neural network that those images were all stop signs, through the process called backpropagation, the neural network will fine-tune itself to recognize stop signs more accurately to before the training. We can then repeat the process to recognize other signs, maybe left turn lanes, highway merges, and all the necessary cases. You can see that if we keep repeating this process, the neural network will be able to recognize more and more scenarios necessary for driving. Don't worry too much if the explanation of neural networks didn't make too much sense to you. What you need to understand is that the neural network takes a visual input and outputs a prediction of what the visual input is. Correctly labeled datasets are used to train and improve the neural network's recognition and understanding of the visual inputs. As you train the neural network with more and more different cases, the neural network becomes smarter and will be able to distinguish different objects within an environment. But where does all the data come from? A problem as complex as solving computer vision for full self-driving would require enormous amounts of data. This is where Tesla's strategy gets very interesting. The data engine cycle begins with an initial data set. That data set is used to train a neural network. The improved model is then uploaded to Teslas through over-the-air updates. This is important because Teslas can have their software improved without having to bring it to a shop. As the cars with the new software update continues to drive on the roads, the car is detecting error cases through different methods. Human intervention is when a customer takes over driving when on autopilot, indicating that the software may be making the wrong decision. Tesla's shadow mode is computing in the background what the software would have done without actually taking action. This is a way for Tesla to monitor whether the software would have avoided an accident or caused one without putting the driver in danger. These are just examples of how Tesla is detecting error cases, and there could be other methods. After identifying an error case that needs to be improved, Tesla will request for more data of similar cases from the fleet. With similar cases from the fleet, Tesla can include these new cases into the dataset after properly labeling them. And now the cycle starts back in the beginning to improve the neural network further. As you can see, this data flywheel will allow Tesla to continue improving their model over time as they discover more edge cases. The more cars Tesla sells, the more data Tesla will collect, the better the neural network model will become. And just as a side note, the data that Tesla is tracking and collecting is anonymized. Just as a comparison in terms of how much of a data lead Tesla has, Waymo has over 20 million miles of real-world driving data. Tesla in 2018 had 1 billion miles of real-world driving data. The magnitudes of difference is huge, and I would not be surprised if the gap is even larger today and continuing to grow. Something to understand, and this is relevant to anyone attempting to solve full self-driving, is that the quality of your data is very important. Your learning model is only as good as your data. Solving full self-driving is really about chasing down the edge cases. It's chasing the nines in the 99.99% accuracy of your model. It's not just about how large your dataset is. A dataset that only has cases of recognizing straight roads is useless. You also need data that sweeps across the countless possible of situations when driving. This is why real-world driving data is so valuable, and I believe Tesla has positioned themselves to capture it. The question is starting to look a lot more like a matter of when than if Tesla will solve full self-driving. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new. If you found the video helpful, consider dropping a like or subscribing, as it would really help out the channel. As always, invest safely. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.